You keep saying you want a different life, but every single day you wake up and feed the same weak version of yourself. You scroll, you complain, you blame people, you blame luck, you blame your past, and then you sit there confused, wondering why nothing changes. Look at yourself carefully. Not the fake version you show people, not the smiling mask, the real one, the exhausted one hiding behind distractions because facing reality terrifies you. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not some magical opportunity. You are the problem, and deep down you know it. You know you waste hours killing your own future with comfort. You know you stay attached to people who drain your soul. You know you betray your own potential every single night. That pain inside your chest, that is not depression alone. That is your spirit screaming because you became someone you were never supposed to become. You were built for more than this weak routine, more than addiction, more than excuses, more than surviving like a ghost. But instead of fighting for your life, you escape into entertainment, into fantasies, into temporary pleasure. And every day your mind becomes softer, slower, more obedient, more afraid. God gave you a brain capable of greatness, and you turned it into a prison. So, how much longer will you keep destroying yourself? How much longer will you lie to your own face? You say you want respect, earn it. You say you want peace, become dangerous enough to protect it. You say you want success, then stop acting like a victim addicted to comfort. Because one day you will wake up old, tired, forgotten. And the worst part, you will realize you had the power to change everything. But you kept waiting for tomorrow. And let me tell you something even darker. The dangerous part is not failure. Failure can teach you. Pain can rebuild you. Loneliness can sharpen you. No, the real danger is becoming comfortable while your life slowly rots in front of you. That is the trap. You wake up tired. You eat without discipline. You waste hours feeding your mind poison. You ignore your goals. You betray your own promises. And then at night, you sit there feeling empty, wondering why your spirit feels heavy. Because your mind knows. It knows you are abandoning yourself. Every ignored responsibility weakens your soul. Every coward decision leaves another crack inside your character. Every excuse slowly transforms you into someone smaller. And society will help you destroy yourself. Oh yes, they will tell you to relax, to stay average, to avoid pressure, to escape discomfort because weak people hate seeing discipline. Your growth reminds them of their own failure. So they laugh when you become serious. They mock your focus. They call your ambition too much. Good, let them laugh. While they sleep, build while they complain, improve while they beg life for mercy, become harder. You think strong people were born different? No, they simply got tired of disappointing themselves. That is the moment everything changes. The moment a man looks at his own reflection and says, enough weakness, enough excuses, enough self-destruction. Because life respects people who move through pain without surrendering. And understand this clearly. God does not bless laziness disguised as dreams. You cannot pray for a better future while feeding the habits, destroying it. Wake up before regret becomes your entire personality. Because one day the distractions will disappear. The noise will disappear and you will be left alone, face to face, with the consequences of every day you wasted pretending you had more time. And that moment, that silent moment, when reality finally corners you, it destroys people because suddenly there is no more distraction to hide behind. No fake motivation videos, no empty conversations, no temporary pleasure, no lies powerful enough to protect you from yourself anymore. Only truth, cold, heavy, merciless truth. The truth that your life became the reflection of your habits, not your intentions, not your dreams, not your words, your habits. And some of you are destroying yourselves every single day while calling it normal. Sleeping late, feeding your mind garbage, escaping responsibility, begging for validation from people who do not even respect themselves. What do you think that creates? Strength, peace, success? No, it creates weakness disguised as comfort, and weak habits eventually create painful lives. That is why your mind feels restless. That is why your chest feels heavy at night. That is why you cannot even sit in silence without needing distraction. Because deep inside you know you are running from your own potential. A disciplined mind is terrifying. It does not need applause. It does not beg for attention. It moves with purpose even when nobody believes in it but you. You keep waiting for emotions to save you. Emotions are unstable. Discipline is what changes lives. So stop negotiating with your weakness. Stop giving comfort control over your future. Every day you delay growth, life becomes harder. Every excuse you repeat, your mind believes it more. Every time you surrender to laziness, you train yourself to fail. And one day you will either thank yourself for fighting through the pain or hate yourself for wasting years asleep while your future slowly died in silence. Do you understand how terrifying wasted years really are? Not wasted days, years. Years of saying tomorrow. Years of hiding from discipline. Years of watching other people evolve while you stay trapped inside the same mental prison. And the worst part, time does not care. It keeps moving while you hesitate, while you overthink, while you doubt yourself, while you keep feeding the habits that are destroying your future from the inside out. One day your excuses will run out, your age will change, your energy will change, your opportunities will change, and suddenly you will realize life was giving you chances you were too distracted to see. That should scare you because comfort is not harmless. Comfort is addictive. The longer you stay inside it, the weaker your mind becomes. That is why discipline feels painful. You are fighting a version of yourself that became dependent on weakness, dependent on delay, dependent on easy pleasure, dependent on escape. And every time you obey those urges, you feed the chains holding your life down. Break them. Force yourself to grow when you do not feel like it. Force yourself to focus when your mind wants distraction. Force yourself to continue when your emotions beg you to stop. Because greatness is not built through comfort. It is built through resistance. You think warriors become strong in peaceful moments. No, pressure creates strength. Pain reveals character. Responsibility creates maturity. That is why suffering changes some people into monsters and others into legends. The difference is discipline. So stop acting helpless. Your mind is listening to everything you repeat. If you keep calling yourself broken, you will stay broken. If you keep acting weak, your future will become weak. But the moment you decide to take control of your habits, your thinking, your actions, everything changes. Not instantly, not magically, but slowly, powerfully, permanently. And that slowly part, that is where weak people quit, because everybody loves the idea of transformation, but very few people can survive the process. The process is ugly. It is waking up exhausted and still moving forward. It is controlling your mind while chaos screams inside your chest. It is sacrificing comfort while everybody around you keeps choosing distraction. Nobody claps for that part. Nobody sees the nights you spend fighting your own thoughts. Nobody sees the discipline it takes to stay focused when your mind wants to collapse. But that is exactly where real power is born. Not in motivation, not in emotion, in repetition. A dangerous person is not someone loud. A dangerous person is someone who learned how to act even when they feel nothing. That is discipline. You think successful people wake up every day inspired? No, some of them are tired. Some of them are stressed. Some of them are mentally bleeding in silence, but they move anyway because they understand something most people never learn. Feelings cannot control your direction. If you only move when you feel ready, you will spend your entire life standing still. That is why your excuses must die completely, not reduced, not managed, destroyed. Stop saying I'll start tomorrow. I need motivation. I'm not in the right mood. Weak language creates weak behavior. Speak like someone who takes control of his life, not like a prisoner begging his emotions for permission. And listen carefully. The world respects consistency more than talent. There are people less intelligent than you winning simply because they stayed disciplined longer, while others with massive potential destroyed themselves through laziness and distraction. Imagine wasting your entire existence because you could not control temporary comfort. Imagine reaching old age knowing fear controlled your decisions, knowing distraction stole your future, knowing you betrayed your own potential over and over again until your dreams finally died inside you. That should terrify you because regret is heavier than pain. Pain can build you. Regret slowly eats your soul alive. And some people are already feeling it every night. That silent sadness, that frustration, that anger at themselves, they try to hide behind fake smiles and entertainment because deep down they know. They know they are capable of becoming more. But capability without action becomes torture. So stop waiting for life to become easier. It will not. You must become stronger, stronger mentally, stronger emotionally, stronger spiritually. You must build a mind that keeps moving even when life becomes dark. Because the future belongs to people who can suffer without surrendering, not people who panic every time life becomes uncomfortable. Stand up, fix your habits, fix your focus, fix your discipline. Take control of your mind before your mind destroys your future. And remember this carefully. Every difficult decision you avoid today will return later as a bigger form of suffering. So choose your pain wisely. The pain of discipline or the pain of becoming another forgotten person who spent his entire life asleep. And you know what is truly terrifying? Most people never even realize they are asleep. They think existing is living. They think surviving is enough. They think repeating the same empty routine for years is somehow normal. Wake up. A human being was not created just to consume distractions until death arrives quietly. You were given a mind powerful enough to create, build, endure, lead, transform. And instead, most people hand that power away for temporary comfort. A screen controls their emotions. Attention controls their focus. Pleasure controls their discipline. Fear controls their decisions, and then they wonder why they feel weak inside because a mind without control becomes easy to manipulate. That is why modern weakness spreads so fast. People lost the ability to sit alone with their thoughts. Silence scares them. Stillness scares them. Reality scares them. So they keep drowning themselves in noise, music, scrolling, validation, entertainment, escape, or anything to avoid hearing the truth inside their own head. But the truth never disappears. It waits. Every ignored responsibility waits. Every wasted year waits. Every broken promise to yourself waits. And one day it all crashes into your chest at once. That heavy feeling you carry sometimes, that is not random. That is the weight of becoming less than you could have been. Your soul knows when you are betraying yourself. It knows when you are lying. It knows when you are hiding behind excuses. It knows when you are pretending to be powerless. You are not powerless. You are undisciplined. There is a difference. Stop calling weakness a personality. Stop saying that's just how I am. I can't change. I always fail. Who taught you to speak about yourself like that? Weak habits can be rebuilt. Weak thinking can be corrected. Weak discipline can become strength, but only if you stop worshiping comfort. Comfort is seductive. It whispers softly. Rest a little longer. Start tomorrow. One more distraction. One more excuse. And slowly, quietly, it steals your future while making you feel safe. That is why some people stay trapped for years, not because they are stupid, because comfort made them spiritually numb. And numb people do not build great lives. Greatness requires pressure, responsibility, sacrifice, focus, self-control, things weak minds run away from. Look carefully at your habits because your habits are voting for your future every single day. Every hour wasted on distraction is a vote for weakness. Every disciplined action is a vote for growth. Every difficult decision faced directly is a vote for strength. That is how transformation really happens. Not through one emotional speech, through repeated decisions, repeated discipline, repeated resistance against the weak version of yourself. And yes, it hurts. Growth hurts when you spent years attached to comfort. Discipline hurts when your mind became addicted to escape. Loneliness hurts when you stop surrounding yourself with people who waste your energy. But temporary pain is nothing compared to lifelong regret. Imagine becoming old and realizing fear made your choices. Imagine realizing laziness stole your potential. Imagine understanding that your dreams did not fail, you abandoned them. That realization destroys people because deep down everybody wants meaning, everybody wants purpose. But purpose demands responsibility, and responsibility is heavy. That is why most people avoid it. They want rewards without sacrifice, confidence without discipline, success without pressure. Impossible. A strong mind is built through resistance. Every moment you continue despite pain, you become harder to break. Every moment you control your impulses, you reclaim power over yourself. Every moment you stay disciplined while others surrender, your character sharpens. This world does not desperately need more talented people. It needs people with control. People who can remain focused while chaos surrounds them. People who can stay disciplined without applause. People who can suffer without collapsing mentally. Because life becomes dangerous when your mind is weak. People manipulate you easier. Fear controls you easier. Addictions destroy you easier, and eventually you stop recognizing yourself. So rebuild yourself now, not later. Now. Before distractions consume more years, before regret grows heavier, before your mind becomes completely trained to surrender. Take your life back. And that weak version of you, it knows exactly how to manipulate you. It knows your excuses, your fears, your emotional triggers, your moments of loneliness. It whispers at the perfect time. Rest today. You already tried before. One more distraction won't hurt. You can start next week. And little by little, your standards collapse, not in one dramatic moment. Quietly, dangerously quietly. That is how people destroy their lives. Not always through one catastrophic decision, but through repeated small betrayals against themselves, ignoring responsibilities, avoiding discomfort, escaping pressure, choosing temporary pleasure over long-term purpose. And after years of doing this, people wake up trapped inside a life they secretly hate. A weak routine, a weak mindset, a weak identity, and because they repeated it for so long, they start believing that is who they are. Know that is who you trained yourself to become. There is a difference. Your habits are shaping your identity every single day. If you act weak repeatedly, your mind accepts weakness as normal. If you keep surrendering to distraction, focus becomes painful. If you constantly avoid discomfort, pressure starts controlling your emotions. That is why discipline must become non-negotiable. Not when you feel motivated, not when life feels easy. Every day, especially the dark days. Because difficult days reveal who you really are. Anybody can act confident when life feels good. Anybody can smile when things are easy. But chaos, pain, pressure, loneliness, that is where character gets exposed. And some people collapse instantly, not because life is impossible, because they never train their mind to endure discomfort. They trained their mind to escape it. Escape through entertainment. Escape through excuses. Escape through addiction. Escape through pretending everything is fine. But hidden pain does not disappear. It grows in silence. That heaviness in your chest, that frustration, that silent anger at yourself, it grows every time you ignore what your soul is demanding from you. More discipline, more honesty, more responsibility, more courage. Courage is not loud. Real courage is waking up and facing reality directly without hiding behind excuses. Real courage is continuing while your emotions are unstable. Real courage is rebuilding yourself after failure instead of surrendering permanently. And understand this carefully. Nobody is coming to carry your future for you. Nobody can suffer in your place. Nobody can build your discipline for you. Nobody can force you to become stronger. That responsibility belongs to you completely. So stop waiting for someone to save you from a life you are choosing every day. Because yes, choosing weakness repeatedly is still a choice. Choosing distraction repeatedly is still a choice. Choosing comfort repeatedly is still a choice. And choices create destiny. Look at your daily behavior honestly. That is your future speaking. Not your dreams, not your intentions, your actions. A man who controls his actions becomes difficult to break. He does not panic easily. He does not collapse emotionally every time life becomes painful. He does not need constant validation to continue moving forward because his strength no longer depends on emotion. It depends on principle, and principles survive chaos. That is why disciplined people become dangerous. Not dangerous through violence. Dangerous because pressure no longer controls them. Failure does not stop them. Loneliness does not stop them. Fear does not stop them. They learned how to continue. That is power. Meanwhile, weak minds keep searching for shortcuts. Easy success, easy confidence, easy transformation. But everything valuable demands sacrifice. Everything. Your future costs something. Your discipline costs something. Your growth costs something. The question is simple. Are you finally willing to pay the price? Or will you continue paying with your wasted potential instead? Because life collects payment either way. And the terrifying thing about life collecting payment is that it waits. It waits silently while you laugh, while you procrastinate, while you convince yourself there is still plenty of time. Then one day, the bill arrives all at once. The missed opportunities, the damaged health, the broken confidence, the weak habits, the years wasted becoming comfortable instead of capable. And suddenly you realize you were not relaxing, you were decaying. That is why weak decisions are dangerous even when they feel harmless. Because repetition builds identity. Every time you quit early, you teach your mind to surrender. Every time you avoid responsibility, you teach your mind to fear pressure. Every time you betray your own standards, you weaken the trust between you and yourself. And once a man stops trusting himself, everything inside him becomes unstable. His discipline disappears. His confidence becomes fake. His words lose value because deep down he knows he does not follow through. That destroys people mentally more than failure ever could. Not failing, becoming the type of person who no longer believes his own promises. That is spiritual exhaustion. When your soul becomes tired of hearing lies from your own mouth. I'll change, I'll become better, I'll start soon. But your actions keep saying the opposite. So make your actions speak louder than your excuses. Stop announcing goals to people. Stop romanticizing motivation. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Move in silence, build in silence, suffer in silence if necessary. Because real transformation is not loud in the beginning. It is ugly, lonely, repetitive. It looks boring from the outside, but internally war. A war against laziness, against distraction, against emotional weakness, against the old version of yourself begging for comfort. And many people lose that war because they underestimate small habits. They think success is one giant moment. No, your future is being shaped by tiny repeated behaviors nobody notices. Waking up on time, controlling impulses, finishing what you start, staying focused when your mind wants escape. Those small actions look insignificant until years pass. Then suddenly one person became powerful and another became bitter. One became disciplined, the other became full of regret. One built a strong mind, the other built endless excuses. And the painful part, most regret could have been prevented by daily discipline. Not perfection, discipline. You do not need to become super hum overnight. You need consistency because consistency slowly changes identity. Every disciplined action sends a message to your brain. I do not surrender easily. Every difficult task completed builds internal respect, and internal respect changes everything. A man who respects himself differently, thinks differently, moves differently, chooses differently. He stops chasing temporary pleasure like an addict starving for distraction. He becomes intentional. That is why focus is power in this generation. Most people cannot focus anymore. Their minds are fragmented, overstimulated, addicted to noise. Silence feels uncomfortable to them because silence forces self-awareness, and self-awareness is painful when you know you are wasting your potential. Good. Feel that discomfort. Use it. Because discomfort is sometimes the alarm clock your soul desperately needs. The goal is not to avoid pain forever. Impossible. The goal is to choose meaningful pain instead of meaningless suffering. The pain of discipline creates strength. The pain of growth creates wisdom. The pain of responsibility creates maturity. But the pain of laziness that only creates regret, and regret becomes poison over time. People start hating themselves quietly, comparing themselves constantly, feeling jealous of others who simply stayed more disciplined. Then bitterness enters their personality, not because life betrayed them, because they abandoned themselves repeatedly. So listen carefully. Your life can still change. Not through fantasies, not through empty motivation, not through wishing, through action repeated daily, even when emotions disappear. That is the difference between people who transform and people who spend years talking about transformation while remaining exactly the same. At some point, you must decide. Will you continue feeding the weak version of yourself, or finally become someone your future self will respect? And before this ends, I need you to understand something most people realize too late. Your biggest enemy was never another person. Not the people who doubted you, not the ones who betrayed you, not the ones who laughed while you struggled. It was the version of you that kept choosing comfort over growth. Because enemies outside of you can only do limited damage, but weakness inside you that can destroy your entire future silently. Some of you keep searching for motivation because discipline sounds too painful. But pain is unavoidable. The question is simple. Which pain do you want? The pain of growth or the pain of regret? One builds you, the other slowly rots you from the inside. Look around carefully. So many people are physically alive but mentally defeated. They gave up on themselves years ago. Now they simply exist. Wake up, eat, escape reality, sleep, repeat. No fire, no direction, or no control. Only distraction until death arrives. That cannot be your story. You still have time to change. But time is not infinite. Every day matters now. Every habit matters now. Every decision matters now because your future is being built while nobody is watching. In private, in silence. During those moments where you either choose discipline or choose another excuse and understand this clearly, your mind becomes whatever you repeatedly feed it. Feed it weakness and weakness will dominate your life. Feed it discipline and eventually your entire identity changes. That is why strong people protect their focus aggressively. They know attention is power. Where your attention goes, your future follows. So stop giving your energy to nonsense. Stop wasting years trying to impress people who do not even respect themselves. Stop poisoning your own potential because comfort feels safer than responsibility. Life becomes brutal when you avoid growth too long because eventually reality forces the lesson anyway, either voluntarily through discipline or painfully through suffering. And trust me, the pain of voluntary discipline is far lighter than the pain of forced regret. One final thing, do not wait until you feel powerful. Move while tired. Move while uncertain. Move while afraid. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. So stand up and take your life back. Control your mind. Control your habits. Control your direction. And never again allow the weak version of yourself to speak louder than the future you are capable of becoming.